What's the most disrespectful thing a human has ever done to you? My ex-boyfriend could spend time in jail for the horrors he put me through. Aside from forcing me to do anything he asked in bed, he'd pick apart every tiny thing I'd do. If I folded the clothes the wrong way, he'd mess them all up and scream at me while I folded them as many times as he felt was enough. He'd never take me out on dates because I wasn't worth spending money on. If he ever did, he'd make me pay, saying I should be grateful he even stepped out in public with me. Not to mention he felt even more entitled to use me as he pleased when we got home those times. No matter how much I pleaded and cried, he kept insisting that I wore a gimp mask, the kind where it deprives you of your senses, not allowing you to see or hear anything. I didn't want to resort to that for intimacy. It felt dehumanizing, but he insisted it was normal for relationships to explore their freaky lives. The kicker: he would show me videos of his ex wearing the mask and doing it with him. He showed me all of those videos of him raw dogging her silent, lifeless-like body. He would always point out how in the videos his ex was in all these different positions because she made sure never to get fat and told me that I needed to watch my figure. I have self-respect falling out of my booty hole already, but there was something about his insistence in telling me to lose weight and to keep my weight off that became my final straw. Any normal person would leave him, but frankly, I was broken. I ended up going against his wishes and started eating more to cope with my feelings. In a way, eating and gaining weight was some sort of subconscious escape from my abuser. If I got fatter, eventually he would just leave me alone. At a certain point, he must have noticed my stretch marks cause he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. During those weeks I thought I'd be more prepared to be ghosted by him, but I ended up sleeping and eating more to numb the pain and to make the time pass by faster. In that time I gained 10 pounds, that's bad. As a result, my clothes started fitting tighter. All my crop tops had my pudgy belly sticking out, my jeans could barely go past my thighs, and my face was bloating up like a balloon. When my boyfriend finally visited, he wasted no time in calling me fat. He told me that my body was the only good thing about me, and I had managed to lose it in just 2 weeks. Safe to say that did not motivate me at all to lose the weight. Instead, I would stare at myself in the mirror, cry about my weight, and then proceed to devour a chocolate cake like my life depended on it. 2 weeks later, the only things that fit me were oversized pajamas, and my boyfriend would come over to tell me that I was a useless cow, and I needed to sign up for the gym if I wanted him to love me again. When I told him that I just wasn't myself because I was so mentally drained from our relationship, he said, "I can't have sympathy for you." To be honest, it messed me up hearing that from someone I thought loved me at some point. When I asked him why he felt nothing for me, he said it was because he could be out effing some bimbo, but instead he was dealing with my fat butt. It felt like I was in this constant loop of being berated, overeating, and crying about my weight gain. A month later, I actually had to buy new clothes because I couldn't keep reusing my pajamas, and wearing anything that made my fatness obvious made me want to off myself. Soon after, my boyfriend invited me over to his house and said he was preparing a special meal to make up for his behavior. I wish somebody had told me to not trust anything an abusive person says, because nobody should have to go through what I did on that day. I decided to put my insecurities aside and wore a red dress I knew my boyfriend liked, even though it was tight around my rolls and my arms looked like buffalo wings, and it took me 30 minutes just to get the dress on. I was willing to push through if it meant my boyfriend was happy. When I got to my boyfriend's place, he did something so horrific to me it changed me forever.